Hello, welcome back to another video. And today I had an idea. I know, dangerous, but I had an idea. I wanted to draw just some bunnies and like chicks. I wanted to draw some sort of furred animal that would really kind of go along with them, but like I recognize that there's not necessarily a furred Easter-ish animal, so I decided that I would just put another animal in with them that would like sort of be around the same size, and that animal I decided on was like a little rat. So we're just gonna draw like those three like little animals in my sketchbook. This is not the normal sketchbook I use, I'm sure, as you could already tell. This is a watercolor sketchbook, so I thought I might do a little painting in here. There's the idea. There's the premise of the video. That's it. So let's do right into it. And with that, I pulled out my pencil and just immediately started drawing. I started off with our little bunny that I said I wanted to draw. So right about time, this is about like a week-ish from Easter, so I figured it would actually be like pretty good idea to use a sort of springtime Easter kind of idea. So I was like, well, what's sort of both of those that don't like rely heavily on it being like extremely Easter? I was like, join some little smushies. That's it. So I started off with my little bunny. This one's eating lettuce. So cute and dorky looking. As you'd see, I really liked the way it turned out, so I just moved right along to our little chick. It's a really big foot for this little tiny thing. Which I drew very small. I was starting off pretty small. I just wanted to draw out our little guys initially. Just get them down, get the just the idea in them just there, I guess. Like their design down real fast. And then I could just continue drawing them later as I go along. I got so progressively smaller with them up here. But here they are. Here's our group. So we have our little bunny, our chick, and our rat. And I knew when I was collecting references, I came along this one of like a bunny and a duckling eating strawberries. I knew I kind of wanted to do like a couple like little scenes of all of them interacting, but also draw them like, alone a couple of times. So I kind of like went along with that. So I started off by taking a reference of the bunny with the strawberry plants and just drawing through that a little bit. And so we're just, playing him out and the plants out. We have the bunny over here munching. The duck is back here. Bloop, 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 bloop. Wait, this is a duck, not a chick. Wait, I could have drawn duckling. Wait, do I want to make this a chick or a duckling? Wait. At that point, I came about to the realization of my picture had a duckling. There was a furred animal I could have done, and that could have been a duckling, and not a rat. And I'm a Dorcas, and I could have just done those three, and they would have been the most recognizable Easter sword dudes ever. But for whatever reason, the ducks kind of like escaped my mind, even though I definitely saved pictures of ducklings as well. So I decided I was going to add them into the group, and I would just have a group of 4 now. I was like, yeah, more the merrier. Let's do it. Let's go. So now I'm just detailing in our little bunny after I sketched everybody out. We have the bunny, have the little duckling right beside him. Checking out the strawberry plants, doing their thing. The bunny's already, chomping down there, as I said before. And now I'm detailing this little rat who's just sat like pressed up against this little strawberry plant, looking like a little dorky chaos potato, doing his thing, just eating a little strawberry. You have the chick, pecking out one on the other side, and they look so cute. I had some grass textures, and then I have moved down to the next one. This one I was also really excited for. So I was like, what would be really, really cute is if I just drew them napping together. So I drew a little bunny first and foremost, since our bunny's Birdie. Since our bunny's the biggest one, I figured out that would be a good starting point, sort of. So I drew the bunny, and I knew that with the way rats are, I would have to draw the rat just like perched on top, like flat on top of the rabbit, and I thought that would just be adorable. And then I drew the chick and the duckling like nuzzled up to the rabbit's foot, all cute like, and I love it. They're a little hard to see, unfortunately, and you couldn't really see me while sketching them, so they're so tiny, which is a little unfortunate, but we'll live. And then I moved along to drawing in another rabbit, and this is just like the rabbit's kind of like in like a pointer pose, I guess, like like when you see the dogs. And they're like the hunting dogs, and they like point in the direction of like the thing. That's kind of what the rabbit's doing, which is why I wanted to draw it. So it's like such a little dork And then I drew like this like face-on rat right there. Boop. And then I moved along to essentially just drawing the exact same thing, but a duckling. Just like face on, staring directly into the camera like, ah yes. Hello there. Like, I had a couple references kind of like that, and I thought these just looked like Dorcases, and I loved it. So of course I saved all those, and I drew a couple. And then I drew another little rat with a nice like little side profile detailed in the bunny ears. I don't know why I didn't do that before, but I guess, you know, I got excited. Drawing a little chick, doing, you know, little chick things. I like this one. That one I think turned out really well. Like, I don't know what it is about that, but it just turned out so well. I also added in our duckling to our like initial 4 lineup. Drew another little chick up in the corner there. Just, you know, it's kind of looks like, you know, like when a cat like loafs. It looks like how that is. 'Cause there's no like legs anywhere. So that's essentially just what it is. It's just like a loaf chick. Anyways, I moved along to our next page. And this one this was another one that I had a very big idea for, is that I kept seeing pictures of like bunnies with big flowers on their heads and ducks and chicks with flowers on their head. And so I just knew I had to do a picture of all of them with just like some sort of like leaf or something on their head. Now, unfortunately, the initial bunny sketch I didn't really like at all. I thought it was too small and too high up, so I erased it. Even though I thought like the proportions and everything seemed okay, I erased the whole thing and tried again. And this time it looked a little better. It was a little bigger, a little lower. And then I decided after, I was like, yeah, that's kind of okay. I moved along into drawing in the chick and the duck first and foremost. I think this one's the chick right here. And then I didn't do the duck right after that like I thought I did. I put the little rat behind, doing little ratty things back there, you know. And he has like a little leaf on his head, like the little chick. And then we have the duckling here who has a nice big flower on his head, and you know, the foreground doing his thing. And he's so cute, and I like this. I like the way this one turns out. It's looking good. I got my brushes. Got a little bit of a palette. Pastel shades. I also got these little concentrated watercolory things, so we'll see if those are useful. But I felt like this palette seemed just right, you know? Now, I kind of have been into the look of, I leave the sketch like kind of under there a bit. So, as I said, I had my little Derwent pastel palette, and then I just immediately went in with the watercolors right on the word sketch, because I had actually really liked the way that looked. I had done that recently, and I was always been worried I would really muddy up the colors, but it's like whenever I see it, I like the way it looks, so I started doing it, and it looks good. Anyways, I decided that the duck would of course be, you know, yellow, and I added in a little bit of variation of brown to break it up from the duckling. I mean the chick. The chick will be yellow with some brown to break it up from the all yellow duckling. The bunny, of course, will be all brown, so it's kind of like, you know, a chocolate bunny. So I thought that'd be, you know, cute, Eastery, haha. And of course, the little rat, the little gray rat, you know, doing his little thing. He's adorable. And I went through, I added some nice yellow to all of the little chicks that went around, and some brown. The brown is not from the Derwent pastel palette. That was actually the same color I showed on camera with my concentrated watercolors. Those are like the Ecoline liquid watercolors dudes, so that's what I'm using for the brown, and it's the same brown as is on the bunny. But anyways, I move on. I just, you know, go through all of them. I'm not doing like too much to the coloring, honestly. I just do like a pretty basic layer. And now the bunny, I do like a little bit of like, I'm adding in like different, slightly darker like brown on like the feet, the ears, and the nose, and like on its back to add like some variation. So I thought that would look pretty, like, nice, and add, like, some furriness to him, and his little, you know, bunniness. And then I guess I didn't clean my brush appropriately, so you'd see on this rat that I'm painting, he's, like, a little brown, and I kind of liked that, because I kind of kept doing that for all of them. I was like, oh, it just, like, warms up, like, a little bit of a spot on them, I guess you could say, and it kind of looked really nice, and I was digging it. So I went ahead and I stuck with that with the rat from now on. But like after I finished that rat, I was like, yeah, this is good. And I moved along into one of the first big piece, I guess you'd say. I mean, it's in a sketchbook, so it's not necessarily like a piece by itself, but you know what I'm saying. I moved along to that, and I started just with coloring all of our little dies with, you know, their colors, since I had already spent a little bit doing that, figuring out kind of what color everybody's going to be before I went ahead and hit the big piece with it, because, you know, that's why I put off all the ones with them interacting till last, because I wanted it to actually look good. Of course, I made the strawberries pink, and I painted in the little ratty's feet and ears pink, and it's so cute. And his little tail. I also painted in the leaf of the first bunny we have up there. It's now a nice pastel green. I painted in the stem of the strawberries, and I gave them like a little area to stand on. So I decided that I would just make it like a full-on thing. Give them some grass, so that way it wasn't just like they were colored in, the plant was, and then there was just a void of nothingness. And while that was drying, so now everything was wet, I moved down to like the one where they were like all sleeping and cuddled up together. So I started off with the bunny, of course, and I added in the base coat and just added in all the little furry textures at the fur. yeah, that. Of course, I would add fur textures at the fur. I don't know what else I'd be adding furry textures to. Nonetheless, I did that, and I moved back up to the other piece, the strawberry one, and added like a nice, like, bright pastel-y blue sky, and it's just, this watercolor palette is so pretty. I love it. I need to pull it out more. Like, I love it so much. Oh my god. Anyways, I moved back down to the sleepy ones, and I colored in the rat, and I colored in the birdies down there. I gave them all their little textures. And then, while all of those were drying, I moved on to adding in, like, some sort of other color to the sketchbook spread. So I wanted to, like, have everybody else, like, have some sort of background. So I put, like, purple around all the standalone guys. And I added into the sleeping guys the same sort of bright blue sky and then green on the bottom. And I thought that looked pretty good. I was pretty happy with that. And had my confidence built up enough to finally move on and over into the biggest piece I had drawn of all of them with their little flower hats on. Of course, I started off with the bunny like I did with all the other ones. Just because, you know, like, I thought that would be the best way of doing that. So I just colored him in. I added in, you know, its splotchiness of, you know, darker brown. I waited for that to dry, and then I went in with my yellow on my little birdies. I did just both of them at the same time. And I actually just went in with the brown right on top of that and hoped it wouldn't bleed into the duckling. And actually that worked out pretty well. So, no horror bleedings happened, so that was great. And then I colored in the rat, of course, and just added in his, like, little brown bits. And once that was done, the rabbit was already dry, of course, so then I moved up and doing to his flower hat. And it's like, I think it's like a lily. So I painted it, like, pink and had, like, a little green stem. And it was so pretty. Oh my gosh, I painted all the stems of the daisies in the background. And once I was done with that, the other animals were all dry, so I added a nice big green grassy ground to them, just like the other two. It kind of made, like, the whole page cohesive in a way, but also, like, letting them all kind of stand out as well. And then I went up and I added a nice yellow center to all of the daisies. And then I painted in the, like, little flower hat of the duckling, a nice pink. Made the sky a nice little blue, just the same as all the other ones. Once again, making it nice and cohesive. And I did this thing where I took my green on my paintbrush and I, like, made streaks into the background while it was still wet to kind of make it look like there's more daisies behind them without actually, like, drawing or painting them in very specifically. And it actually worked out really well. And then I decided it was missing a little something, like a little differentiation between all the characters. So I broke out one of my, I think this is a Derwent Color Soft, some sort of dark brown color pencil. And I kept it very sharp, and I did, like, my line art essentially just with this colored pencil. And I thought that was the most perfect thing ever. So you just look at it with the lines. It really just, like, it brought everything together. I could add a little bit of texture, a little bit of detail, and I could finally just, like, they were just all different from each other. Like now you kind of see the duckling and the chick and the sleeping one. Like it brought everything together. It was what it needed. Like, so I thought the black liner pen would be too strong, which I think was the right call. Actually, this was just so perfect. And of course, on the left side, after I finished line arting there, everybody, I went in with a like a white pen and just added in some shinies. And then I continued on to the next page with my color pencil and just finished off all the line art on everybody. And this is probably like the first time you actually see like a lot of my line art, which I don't really understand. It's like I covered up so much of the sketches, but like the line art is so clear. It's a little ridiculous for me. It's like all sorts of backwards than what it normally is. But I'd go through, do all the daisies, and just look at that. It's so perfect with this. Gosh, it like looks better than I remember, and like the little grass textures was just the perfect amount of like detail without making it go too far, I think. Oh my god, they're so cute. They look so good. Oh, I love them so much. Them all eating strawberries, taking a nap together, then all in their like little flowery field, which I think looks really cute. And it's turned out pretty good. I'm quite happy with this. But sadly, that's all time for today. As always, I hope you have an amazing day, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!